Quack. 13 and oh no. This is the Quack 12 podcast, the most official, unofficial Oregon Ducks sporting podcast on the web footosphere. And Aaron, I'm
Hey.
bummed, man.
Wow. Cool story, guys.
Aaron, the first loss of the season. What do you think of it?
I mean, maybe I could put this on the books. I think that might have been the worst New Year's Day I've personally ever had. Like 0 wins.
Yeah.
Wake up to bad news.
Yeah.
And then you're like, this is how my day went yesterday. Wake up and Uli is telling me about the New Orleans thing, which is terrible.
Yeah.
Sugar Bowl postponed
Mm-hmm.
to today, right?
Yep.
Okay.
I'm not watching it.
And then, so that was like the beginning, like, wow, we can't even get fucking one day of, wow, maybe we can get along. Maybe. And then I couldn't get my PlayStation 5 to work.
Oh, no. Oh, no. The red ring for the PS5. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, I couldn't get the internet. I couldn't remember the fucking password to our internet.
Oh, dude.
So I couldn't get into anything.
Oh, no.
So that was terrible. But then I finally figured it out. And then the Ducks thing happened. And we will talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, I guess we got it.
And then I watched a movie that was very good. And then I went to bed because that game hurt me so hard.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, let's talk about it. We got how many of our most successful players sitting on the bench?
Yeah. Okay. So there was Tez Johnson real early, was clearly not 100% with some neck, spine, whatever.
Yes.
Seemed like a hard hit. Reed did some. I don't know.
I think it seemed like it aggravated something that probably has been existing.
Mm-hmm. Evan Stewart, who was a star in the first matchup, he also seemed to be in and out.
Yeah.
And then Jordan James almost immediately, he's out as well. That being said, I don't want to put this in the category. This is what, in my opinion, what happened. Okay. Trying to be not a biased Duck fan here.
Okay.
Because obviously this is a team that we beat, you know. We're a
by
team
the skin of our teeth.
By our skin of our teeth at home, which I think comes to light a little more.
I mean, yeah, they showed. You know what's interesting? I'm sorry to cut you off, but in the game that we're talking about, that I'm not going to really reference because I don't want to give it too much power, because it hurt me too much, and I'm not ready to acknowledge it yet.
Yes.
They did show a clip from the initial game at the beginning of the season.
Yeah.
And the clip they showed was the quarterback making a mistake in the very final seconds.
Yeah.
And in the light in which they showed it, I went, oh, wow, yeah. They probably would have beat us in that game too had not everything gone our way in that game.
Well, not everything went. You know, I don't want to take away from that first game.
Sure.
Because, like, there were times, like, they gave them that interception, for example, in the beginning. That was not, you know, we should have had that interception. They ended up going down and scoring on a drive.
Right.
And, like, they could have stopped it. We had some big plays in the first one. I think the difference is that going into the season, everyone was saying, and it was clear, Ohio State is the most talented roster from top to bottom. We are a very talented roster, too. I don't want to take away anything from that. But Ohio State's was flushed out the best. Okay. And I think in this game, this is a team fully realizing and utilizing like insane NFL talent at specifically receiver. I mean, kind of everywhere, but specifically at receiver.
Dude.
Yeah. I mean, that's what
you want to talk about. You want to talk, oh God.
Are you
I mean,
dying?
when you have a defense like we have, you go, I just don't know how concerned I can really be until you see the way they treated us. And you're like, am I even watching the same team? Like, who is missing here? Because no one is showing up.
Yeah.
Like, did they even say Betcher's name the whole game?
I mean, I remember there was a big hit, a tackle for a loss or something. But like by the time you were mentioning Betcher, the game was
over.
Garbage game was garbage time pretty quickly, honestly.
I have a joke. I was gonna say the garbage time began after our second 3 and out.
That may not even be a joke. I'm looking at the play-by-play right now. Because they scored a touchdown in 3 plays, plays under a minute. Then
they did it in 4 or 2.
And then wait a second. I forgot this. This is funny. Aaron, you're totally wrong. Because they scored a touchdown in 3 plays. Then we went 3 and out.
Right.
And then we forced a punt, which I completely forgot about.
Right.
Because in my head, she's like terrible. Then we went 3 and out.
Right.
And
that's where I believe garbage time began.
I mean,
because right after that they scored. They scored immediately after that
in 3 plays. After that, they scored a touchdown in pretty similar fashion. Whereas, like this time, it was a 42-yard pass to Emeka Ibuka, who's an amazing receiver. Yeah, better than anyone we have. I would say
the quarterback was putting him right where he was supposed to.
Yeah, Will Howard had a fucking. That's the other thing. It was just like
they lit up. They lit up, dude.
I think it really highlighted what I would say is 2 weaknesses, and these are only weaknesses if we're talking about playing against like a top 3 team, which I think Ohio State is clearly the best team, which is crazy because they have 2 losses.
They it hurts too much to talk about.
I know.
They
listeners, Aaron is weeping right now.
Yeah, they played better than the number next to their name.
Oh, absolutely.
It was like, why are they 8 right now? This is embarrassing how bad they are making us look. Like it made me question the validity of us being like ranked number 1. It made me question the validity of a 13-0 season.
I don't think it should take away from the 13-0 season because that happened. Like we won every single game against really good competition.
Yes, we did.
2 teams that we played against that we beat are in the playoffs and are favorited. Like like I don't think you should take away. I think we're a very good team, but when we're talking about this is why the national championship is so hard. This is what I think.
Okay.
Let me tell you this.
What happened?
When we're playing, what happened? We need that as just a soundbite.
Yeah.
Fred Willard. What happened?
R.I.P. man. One of the best.
I love that guy. I don't care what he did in that movie theater. He's a great guy.
I don't know what he did in the movie theater.
Look it up.
Okay, I will.
Listeners, look it up.
If it happened in the 80s or before, it has to be forgivable because
it was after. It was after.
Oh. Dang.
No, it's really not. I'll tell you right now. He went to and this is Fred Willard. He's freaking hysterical old man. When he was like 70 or 80, I believe he went to a like one of those porno theaters.
Sure, that's fine.
An institution. And he, did what you assume you would do in one of those theaters.
Popped one off.
He got caught and he got arrested. And they published it in all the newspapers and stuff. I think that's kind of a charming story, honestly, when you're like an 80-year-old man. He probably thinks that's the only place you can see those kind of, dirty films. Where else? I mean, that's where you're supposed to do it in a way.
I do believe, there is obvious nuance to what was happening inside the theater that they'll never actually tell us about because
the Illuminati don't want us to know.
But I will say that seems, depending on the rest of the audience, it seems relatively safe and harm-free because he's an old man.
Yeah, he's an old man.
What do you want him to do? How do you want him to get his Rockies?
Kind of funny too, so I completely give him on it.
It's a man. Look, he doesn't know how the internet works.
Yeah,
you can't put that on him.
He did have a famous quote when he got arrested. The first thing he said was, "What happened?"
Did he really?
No, he didn't. Maybe he did. Anyways,
okay, that was a great sidebar.
This is what I think happens in this game. That's how we got here. I forgot.
That's how we got here.
And we've been remember, Hitler has been saying this all season.
We have a weak secondary.
The secondary is not necessarily weak per se. Weak maybe cutting it a little too much.
Okay.
But that's hey, maybe you're right, because I think that is the weakness. If we're talking about playing against A+ offensive talent.
Correct. That's what I meant. And I was using weak in the term in which you said top 3 teams as who we should be.
That is the weakness then. Same thing I think can be said about our receiving core. Not that it's not talented, not great. Tez Johnson is a record-setting elite talent.
When he can be on the field.
Which in this game was not so much.
Or the season.
Well, I mean, he played more. He played more than he didn't. That's for sure. He got a ton of yards.
Sure.
But when we're talking about who's the wideout, because obviously Tez Johnson is going to be a lot on the inside. Who is the wideout that's going to be what Jeremiah Smith is for them, where it's just the thing that makes everything work so much easier, and the thing that the reason why we beat Ohio State the first time we played them is because we had this deep threat, and that makes everything. You got to stay honest. It's also something you can maybe just go to confidently.
What was our deep threat at that time?
Evan Stewart was in that earlier game. He had a couple of huge passes, as was Trayshawn Holden before he spit on that guy.
Right.
So those were our best.
Forgot about that. Mm-hmm. Dang.
Those were our best options.
You want to talk about karma coming back at you, dude.
Maybe that's it. Trayshawn Holden did look pretty freaking frustrated in this game, which is what you want. He actually had
Ohio State.
Yeah.
I don't want him looking frustrated. I want him looking like a fucking winner at all times.
He looked defeated. Well, I'll tell you this though, this should at least give us some hey, that's good. A lot of this was in, garbage time, unfortunately. But Trayshawn Holden had 7 catches for 116 yards and 2 touchdowns. He actually did get his. He was the only one for the Ducks.
Okay, I do have to ask.
So let me say this though. So it's I think that is, it's not necessarily, it's the combination of how we stacked up against them, where it's we did not have this connection where it's a deep field connection, which is both by design. It seemed like Oregon wanted to do some sure offensive thing, our bread and butter to march down the field, which did not work. I think the play calling.
And that's Will Stein.
That is Will Stein.
And I'm beginning to understand Hythlodae's grievances with his decision making, I guess is how we could put it.
It felt like they were calling plays to be this is what's worked all year, and I think they should have come out, especially after the second 3 and out and you're down, or after we're down 14-0.
Mm-hmm.
I think many Duck fans would have been happy with this. Who knows if it would have been any different turnout.
Sure.
But we all wanted some down the field. I wanted 3 straight passes. You know what I mean? I felt
I wanted them to go for it on 4th.
Yeah. And we started eventually, but yeah.
The thing that got me so excited about why can't I think of his name?
Dan Lanning, Goldstein.
Dan Lanning, thank you. Jesus Christ.
He is.
What got me so excited about him was how ferocious he kind of coached.
Yeah.
Like, he scared the piss out of me.
Yeah.
With his play calling, because it was hyper aggressive.
Mm-hmm.
And I saw no teeth at all in this game. When you back a rabid animal into a corner, that animal is going to attack you. That's how they work. And this one just went, no, what? You're right. I'm a great lap dog. Let's go home.
Yeah.
Like, well, at 14-0, I want to see going for it on fourth. I don't care where the marker's at. You've been getting pwned. You need to bite.
Yeah. I mean, this is what ended up happening.
Oh,
I think this is
that
what
felt good.
About.
I didn't want to be mad about it, but it felt good to get a little mad.
I think you should.
I'm working through those phases.
4th and 6, so we're down 14-0. 4th and 6, 3 minutes and 43 seconds left. We're at the Ohio State 49-yard line.
Right. We've yet to cross the 50-yard line the whole fucking game.
Well, we did, because Ohio State's 49. So we technically barely crossed.
We just crossed
1 yard. Gotcha. We just got our first down, though, was this drive. And so there is where we punt. I definitely was kind of on your side, too, of like, oh, this seems like a time. But we
to bite.
We punt 40 yards. They end up going 63 yards and get a field goal. So now we're down 17-0.
Right.
I don't really mind not going for fourth down there, because then you see on the next drive, we get a couple of first downs. So that's nice. No, we only get one. And we go for it on fourth down, 4th and 3 at the Oregon 48-yard line. So basically the exact same spot. We go for it on 4th and 3. We don't get it. They turn that into a touchdown. And I think that's truly just like our back is
interesting.
Down 24-0, so it felt like it was done. Yeah.
And that's where you say garbage time began, that touchdown?
I don't know.
Or that stop?
You could maybe say down 17-0. If we're going Hythloday method, it's like that could be it, where it's like, whew, the amount of stuff it's going to take to come back from that isn't
right. The thing that hurt, the thing that also really sucked is when you realized how much time it took us to get down the field to score a touchdown.
Mm-hmm.
When I was like, oh, wow. And that was like a successful drive for us in this game.
Yeah.
Because it did score us a touchdown, but it like looked good. I guess.
Oh, at the end of the half. Yeah.
It made me think, if it takes us that long to get down the field to get 7 points, there's no way we're going to catch up. It's impossible, because we also have to stop them. There's not enough time.
Yeah. Well, and Dan Lanning
that point
said,
I was just
I saw a quote where I'm misquoting, but Dan Lanning even said about that final touchdown drive that it was really cool. You know, that's Dylan Gabriel just like gutting it out, being like, we need something. But also he said on that drive, like, that was not like them, okay, we dialed something up and, oh, this seems to be working. That was a bunch of like anomalies happening, like someone barely beating someone in a perfect pass, or like a rare miss coverage from the defense. It was just like a bunch of little things barely happening, you know, for us to get this one score. And so I think basically Oregon had quit by that point. Like, this was clearly a team, maybe not the individual players quitting, but I think we weren't calling this game, like, it would need to be all out, never punting for us to have a semblance of a chance of coming back. I don't even blame them for not going for it. But so, Aaron, really what I think this comes down to is all season, if they has said, the one spot where we are not a factory producing talent, where it's like we have 5-star veteran talent and behind them we have 4-star, backup talent,
sophomores,
is in the secondary. that is where we are the weakest.
Mm-hmm.
We are still good enough whole hog defense to take care of most teams.
Yeah.
On most days. We won 13-0 and arguably the toughest conference. Like that's not.
And then we're playing someone in that same conference at the Rose Bowl.
Yeah, like that we beat. That we beat. So it's like, so that secondary is a huge thing. And then in this game, it's like against again the most elite competition. I think our receivers let us down a bit. Like it's just like the talent really drained off really quick. We had no true deep, just like fuck it, throw it up player. And I mean, also, you just got to give Ohio State credit. Their receiving core combined with a Will Howard who's just completely freaking locked in. It felt like playing Washington last year. It's just like sometimes you just have those passes were insane, dude.
Yes.
A few of them were just like, we fucked up. Really that guy's completely open. Some of them were like, we're defending the ball. We're deflecting the ball, and it's still landing in their hands for a 40-yard score. Like,
can I tell you what made me the most mad during watching the game?
What's that?
How much fucking credit they were giving to Potato Chip. I was so annoyed that that's the asshole that's getting all of the credit for beating the Oregon Ducks.
Yeah.
I don't know that I heard much of them even saying Dan Lanning. They literally just started talking how this was a game of Potato Chip versus Will Stein. That was the game to the announcers. And I was like, you're making me so mad right now.
We know who won. We know who won that game. Dude, Chip Kelly, you got to give him credit too.
I can't.
I mean,
I can't.
You don't have
Something happened in the past where I decided I didn't like him. I don't remember what it was, and I know I let go of it, but it's back now.
Well, now you got something to remember is that he completely dismantled us.
Yes.
One thing that makes me happy,
which is amazing.
That makes me happy, I'll tell you, is remembering, because like, being in this situation right now, we're extremely talented. We're coming off back to back to back, at least. Like, sure, there's some tough seasons in there. Like, there's a season where we lost to Washington, lost to Oregon State. That freaking sucked. And Georgia. That was a tough one. There's a season where we lost to Washington twice. And then there's this season. All three of these seasons are still, there's teams out there that would die to have these seasons.
I think
there's still very, hold on one second. There's still very positive, great seasons. But, they all fall short of our ultimate goal. And it looks like, how far away are we from that ultimate goal? Looking back at it, the last, when I think of Coach Harbaugh at Michigan, granted he cheated to have this done, but still, Coach Harbaugh at Michigan or Ryan Day at Ohio State, both those guys at points, even for this season for Ohio State, Ryan Day, they were ready to fire his ass.
Right.
And it looked like he would never get it done. And even this season, he lost to Michigan. It looked like, oh my God, this guy's fucking cooked. This team's terrible. Michigan, there were times where they were ready to fire Coach Harbaugh because it was just like, he's never going to get it done. He's never going to beat Ohio State. He's never going to be elite enough. And then it's just like, it really makes you think, to get to the national championship and to win, you have to have elite talent, which we have. You have to have
but we don't.
No, we do have elite talent. We lost to Ohio State, but we have,
because we don't have a complete elite. What you need to get the natty is a complete elite.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree with that. You have to have literally the best roster in college football to win. There's very few Cinderellas, so we don't have that, but we are still trending towards that direction because our recruiting classes are only elite. But we are not quite there yet. But to say we don't have elite talent, we do have elite talent. It's freaking insane. Not Ohio State level, but but just about any better than anybody else.
I'm going to say I got two things here.
Yeah.
One, earlier you were talking about just kind of feeling defeated, the players.
Sure. Yeah.
I would like to say I feel like Noah Whittington stepped up.
Yeah.
He was working fucking hard. Because that shit, when Jordan James being gone so quick, that was, for me, we're cooked.
Yeah.
If we don't have our tank, we are cooked.
Yeah.
So, Noah Whittington, congratulations. I thought you played well.
Yeah.
2, what this season has shown me, now that you've said all of that, I think what we have on our hands here, my dear boy, is a new rival.
Oh, sure.
Like, they beat us like somebody spit in their face.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Don't joke.
Dude, like, this might be like, okay.
Yeah.
We get it. Let's party, you know, like maybe we got us a rival here. It's like, let's get vicious.
No joke. I agree.
They better win the whole damn thing. That's all I have to say.
I know. I'm like juggling. Like, what do I want? Do I want them? I probably want. They beat us so bad that it'd save us face to be like, oh, we lost the national champion, and I think they're going to like. This is not going to be their biggest beatdown. I think they're going to really kick the crap out of some teams. But at the same time, the only other team I can kind of see being like, this would be fun if it happened. What if it's Ohio State versus Penn State, and Penn State beats Ohio State? That would be fun because we beat Penn State.
Sure.
And Ohio State fans would be crushed to lose to Penn State.
I don't want to hurt them. They've done nothing wrong to me. But I will say this.
Yeah.
Ohio State needs to win the whole. Maybe I forgot what I was going to say.
Well, Texas, dude. Texas is their next team up.
Oh, yeah. Okay. So this is what I was actually going to say. Thank you. I was going to say, if you wanted to segue over, one thing for sure is that Ohio State will make mincemeat out of Texas.
I think so.
Because I do see what you and Hith were talking about after watching a very fun and your favorite underdog team game against ASU.
Let's take a minute to talk about this game because
I think we should because wow. I know I was like watching it being like, oh, I get why Adam likes these guys. They will work hard for this.
They were like one play away from one of I don't 100%. I'm gonna look up the Wikipedia for Arizona State because I don't know what the height of highs is for I know Jake the Snake Plumber is involved, but
oh yes, that's right. They were showing that clip.
It was a truly amazing game.
So fun.
Arizona State. Not only that, but I think it's clear, and I've been saying this all goddamn season. Cam Skatteboo.
Yeah, you love that kid.
Dude, Cam Skatteboo should have been Heisman.
He's so fun to watch. Like he's a danger dumpling out there.
Dude, he comes out there. He's running as hard as he goddamn can. Every single yard behind that ASU line against an elite Texas defensive line. Every single yard is just him. Is just willpower. It is not like, oh, he had a big hole. It was like just muscling through for every goddamn
you have to go Marshawn Lynch on it. You got to hit him again.
They fall down pretty quickly by like a couple of scores. They get nothing but an early field goal. It looks like they are done in the water. So I think they were down like 16 points.
I think
pretty
16
late.
Or 17.
Because
I only watched the second half of it, but immediately it's like, what is happening here? This is
Cam Skatteboo
comeback,
vomiting gallons of just
emotion.
Of anger over on the sideline. He is vomiting on the sideline. They bring him back out. They know, well, this is the only guy who can do a goddamn thing on this team. He throws like a 50-yard touchdown pass as a running back. Next drive, I don't know if it's the next drive, but next school.
Let's be fair. He did throw it short. The receiver did an excellent job of slowing it down and also getting away from 2 receivers to catch it.
He was the best quarterback. Defenders. He was the best quarterback on the field, Cam Scatterboo.
That's
so he goes out there, throws that touchdown. A couple drives or next drive later,
he gets one himself.
Catches one, gets his helmet ripped off, does a WWE
That's right.
Oh my God. And then he gets a 2-point conversion, one of those 2-point conversions. Arizona State converts on both of them. Texas misses 2 field goals that would have put them up. So suddenly we're going to overtime.
But also, this game was so good and so fun that it also had that perfect New Year's Day moment that you want in football.
Yeah.
Where the coach is there with the kicker, like feeding him positivity. And you see them being like, we could, and then it hits the pole.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
We go to overtime. We get another Cam Scatterboo awesome touchdown. I also not Plummer. Their quarterback's also goddamn amazing. I actually really like him a lot.
Yeah. I missed the opening ceremony of our game because of this game's.
Oh yeah, I just couldn't.
I have to stick here for a while.
Yeah, Sam Levitt, who's from Oregon, by the way. I do really like him on this team too. But so they in overtime, there is that one is they're on the 2-yard line. Cam Scatter is trying to get in there. The offensive lineman just grabs him and just pile drives him back into the end zone. They almost had it in overtime. It's 4th and long, and then Texas scores a touchdown. They score another touchdown. Arizona State throws a pick. That's the game. But I think it's important to remember that for so much longer,
your face
for so much longer in college football history, we were more of an Arizona State, punching above our weight class, using guts and just really nutso balls to the wall play calling to try to get an advantage and falling short. That was us forever. But that was one of the best games I've ever seen in my life. If that would have been a win, that would have been one of the best wins I've ever seen in my life.
For ASU?
Cam Scatterboo,
which they would
amazing player, generational player.
Yeah. And honestly, they would be so annihilated by Ohio State.
Yeah. I think that both
it would be
teams,
more fitting. It'd be like when the samurai, commits the thing or whatever.
Yeah, seppuku.
It's like, you know what? This team deserved to be annihilated like that because they worked hard to get to
You'd
that
rather go out in that glory than just 48-0 loss.
I was going to text you at a certain point in our game where I was like, I'd almost prefer this game to have ended 31-0. I would have rather us just been riddled. We're just walking down the alley and then all of a sudden the Joker shows up and kills our parents.
The only thing I liked about this result is there was fight in the second half. And it would be a bad sign if the players straight up looked like they quit. You don't want to see 2 ducks fighting in the second quarter with each other on the side. That would be a bad sign.
Yes.
And again, it's just I think it's the differences where it's ASU being we're here, we're fighting above our weight class, but ASU, if we're being real with ourselves, was never getting that specific team.
Sure.
They're never winning that.
Well, that's why it was so marvelous to watch them fight so hard for it. Because you take it to 2 overtimes. Fuck it, man. You deserve the win. Take it.
Did. Oh, yeah.
Amazing. ASU, please have. If I was the Texas Longhorns, I might be you know what? You guys really want this.
Kenny Dillingham should be coach of the year, I personally believe.
Yeah, I see why Hythloday really loves him too, because he's inspiring those kids somehow.
I feel that's what we're missing a little bit is Kenny Dillingham is we need to do whatever the fuck
I kind of feel I agree with you.
Will Stein, this is the thing. It's like I feel like our offense and our defense, to some extent, our defense needs some fresh horses. We need some more talent injected into it. Our offense, I feel like, is so designed around like we're gonna march down the field regularly, which is a great thing. But I think we need some more risk involved when we're playing, especially against the most elite competition like Ohio State. I just, to win the national championship, it's just such a thin line you gotta walk, and you have to have the bluest of blue blood talent to even approach it. I think this is like a hard knock, but overall, Oregon is still in a great spot. Like, we're in a better spot than we've ever been to one day win a national championship. It's just, them's the bricks, dude. I think we are probably beating like Texas, Arizona State, like many of these other schools that are here.
Oh, dude.
I think it's possible Penn State does this too.
Yeah, had we moved forward, I'd have no doubts. Just as I have no doubts Ohio State is going to beat Texas. Yeah, we totally would have beaten Texas as well. That's a beatable team. I do see it now. I see how it's like, oh, okay.
Offensively, they're pretty just not consistent. I mean, Arizona State's defense shut them down for so long. That's not a good sign.
Fascinating game.
But overall, a really good football. I mean, I'm still very happy with this football season. It's tough when you're like literally the only thing that will make you feel good is winning a national championship. That's so hard and rare.
Yeah. Isn't that funny how we worked ourselves up? I truly did.
Closer game, we'd be feeling like if this was a last second loss, we would be like, that was a bummer, but
Holy shit, what a ride.
It probably hurt more, I think, if it was a close loss.
Yeah.
But we would
for
be
sure
feeling
hurt more.
Better. Like, it's kind of a weird combo.
Yes.
Like, I don't know.
The pain would have been more justified because we would have been like, we never stopped playing, just like we never stopped playing. Or in this one, it felt like we never started playing. And that was the part that made it actually hurt. And when they showed the fans in the stands fucking 10 minutes into the game already being like,
surrender Cobra, that's what it's called. Surrender Cobra. When you do this,
it was just like, dude,
I know. Yeah,
we got punched in the face, and we got a Mike Tyson punch is what happened.
That's the other thing, and I think this should be mentioned. This is not the reason why this happened. The reason why this happened is because Ohio State is clearly the best football team in the country.
Is that true?
We'll find out. If they win the next two games, I think it's very easy to say, yes, they were flawed early on, but by the end, which is funny because their final regular season, they lost to goddamn Michigan. But by the end, they were the best team in the country.
It's fascinating.
I think one thing that helped them certainly is, so they play Michigan week 12, whatever that is, week 13, I guess. They don't have to play in the Big Ten championship game. So they've got a month off just like we did. And then they got a warm-up game against Tennessee. And so they're like, okay, we're feeling good. We're back locked in. Next week is Oregon. And so they were ready. That's the difference,
is they got to they got to dust off the boots.
It helped.
I truly believe the time off did the most damage.
I think it did. I think it's a little too much. I think they're going to switch up the playoffs to figure out an easier way for all this to happen. But
yeah,
it's not the only reason why Ohio State beat us. I think they would have just beaten us no matter what. But
I don't think so.
It really helps them in that first quarter to come out on goddamn fire and to have the confidence to be like, you know what, Jeremiah Smith, just fucking run out there and I'll throw it to you. Because that's all they did.
They knew right?
Yeah.
They're watching the tape just like we are. They're like, yo, that's flawed. They're not top 3 in this little sector.
Exactly. It's just like literally we have the best receiver in the country. The crappy thing is he's so young that he will be back next season for them, and I hate that. But like they just have an insane QB. I mean, receiver and a great QB in this moment. Like he's on fire for this team. I don't know, dude. Like what it comes down to literally is being like, we need one of those.
Yep.
We need that receiver. If we had that receiver on this team right now, this whole game could be different.
Now, this is actually something that I was thinking about that I've found interesting is that now that money is involved, those types of realities are going to become more and more common, right? Because at the end of the day, it's just going to be like the New York Yankees.
Yeah, a little
like,
bit,
what can you buy to be the best?
Yeah.
It kind of scares me a little bit because I don't want us to be the bad guys in that world.
Well, how could we be? If we're the bad guys, that means Ohio State's the good guys, and I fucking refuse to believe that. Maybe that's what a bad guy would say.
I think, well, see, that's how I know that we have us a super solid rival, is that we can try and create scenarios where you're like, yeah, I could see that, but it's like, no, because I hate them.
Yeah, I get it, dude. Well, and now it's really going to be, because now it's just going to be like, okay, even if Ohio State isn't on our schedule for some random reason, we'll probably see them in the Big Ten championship game. And we'll probably see them in the playoffs.
I am willing to lose to them year after year if it means I get to build up a team that annihilates them in 7 years.
Yeah, I mean that's
I am willing to let them beat us up so that one day we can destroy their stupid faces.
Yeah, that's what it's gonna take, dude. That's what it's gonna take. So we've talked about this game about as much as we're gonna get out of it. Let's talk about the future of the Pac-12 here. Okay.
Well, okay.
This is what I want to say.
We don't have any future news. Like, normally the season's over. The coaches haven't said anything.
Not yet. We got some episodes coming out, and we're going to see who's like
sticking around,
what everyone's plan is for the NFL, for coaching staff, whatever.
Right.
But the future for the Pac-12 podcast listeners, I'm just going to tell you right now, I am freaking run down with this thing. All right. My heart has been.
Am I right?
Just completely stomped on by this team. Not only that, but creatively, I'm trying to do some other things that isn't this goddamn podcast.
Do you want to talk about that?
It is our curse. That's right. We're trying to make some short films. All right. I don't want to say specifically, but it's become a really fun hobby where I can't like lose, unlike this hobby, which every single season ends with us.
Well, this ultimately
feeling
hobby.
Disappointed.
Yeah, it's also one in which you get to compete yourselves.
Yeah, true. We enter some competition,
but you should never look at art as competition. Don't ever do that.
Never do that. Yeah. Never do that. This podcast is art, though, so maybe we shouldn't think of that way either. Basically, what I'm saying is, since 2017, we have put out an episode every goddamn week, more than one episode a week, like on average, every single week since 2017. And listeners, I'm telling you now, this season will be the final season that happens. In fact, this is where I'm at. I mean, this is the curse of this podcast. This podcast will not end fully until we win a national championship, which may never happen. It has not happened since we started in 1894.
Look, gosh, I just want to keep making you digress, but
apparently,
we cursed ourselves with that, assuming Dan Lanning could get it done. Like, it's crazy to think that Dan Lanning could get a national championship this fast. Like, we should be honest there. We were living delusionally.
Yeah,
I think it's a really interesting psychological study that I'm going to rewatch all of our episodes to see where my brain went for the last 3 years.
Mm-hmm.
So, but anyway.
Anyways,
we're gonna win a national championship in the next 3 years. It just won't be a three-peat.
Not crazy to think that. But so that being said, my friends, I do want, so we're not going to be doing weekly all through the off season or anything like that. We're no longer covering basketball even though we got a freaking great basketball team. I think overall that'll be good because I've barely watched any basketball and they've been doing great since I've stopped watching them. So I think I'm only jinxing them if I watch them.
Can I have a quick sidebar on that as well? Just so I can elongate your telling the listeners how this is going to play out.
Let's hear it, baby.
I also did recently see a video in which a guy breaks down how basketball is a solved game. And so it actually isn't going to be any fun until they start doing regulation rule changes. So that's why I'm glad we're not covering basketball. It's like, who wants to talk about a solved game?
Yeah.
Football still has scenarios in which you have to be like, Anyway, so yeah,
we solved it. I mean, hey, they're freaking great though. March Madness is still my favorite tournament of all time. But no, this podcast, all right, it reminds me of there's a Timbers bar in Portland, I do believe, that just has a TV. They have one big ass TV, and they have a sign that says, "This machine." I'm like everything, I'm misquoting this, but it says, "This machine is only for Timbers games." And at this bar, they turn on the TV when the Timbers game starts, and they turn off the TV when it's off. And that is it. You know, like they do nothing else.
Is it a plasma TV? And so they need to really restrict how many hours it gets used?
Yeah, it's one of those really old school room filling.
They pull out the drawer
TVs. We're just like,
they pull out the drawer.
Do you remember like early or like 80s big screen TVs?
Of course.
They were
very
huge, dude.
They were massive.
They were huge. They'd heat up a room and they hurt your eyes to look at.
Yeah, a buddy of mine as a young kid, I don't know what his parents did, but they had like a lot of property and they had horses and cows and stuff. But they had, I thought, for me, I was like, this is my rich friend. I can tell he's obviously way richer than me because they had the big ass TV with like that weird convex screen.
Yeah.
So you had to sit in a very certain spot to get the best look. And it had the drawer with the lights.
Yeah.
And that was connected to a fucking massive, like probably 12-foot satellite in their backyard.
Wow.
And
I remember that. They were huge. Yeah.
And that's how we got to watch MTV.
That's amazing. That's amazing. And you were like, wow, I wish I could hear the music over the whirring of the big screen TV.
Yeah.
Just like,
they were incredible.
Anyways, that's what this podcast is from now on. All right. Every football season, we will turn on. We will recap these freaking games. We will preview the next one. And then we will turn off. And also, here's some more news. I'm fucking done with Twitter, y'all. I don't want to see any of that garbage anymore. I will be straight up deleting the Quackville podcast Twitter.
Okay. I just want to talk you off that ledge.
Okay.
Or at least attempt in saying that you can keep it going unless it has no act. If you are not seeing a click-through value to it when you post an episode and then people go and listen to it.
Yeah.
If you're not seeing that, no need for Twitter. Otherwise, I would just say rearrange your relationship to where it's just like a junkyard, which it is.
Yeah.
In which you tell everyone, here's my new contribution to the digital junkyard.
Well, possibly. I mean, there's a lot of people.
The junkyard known as the internet.
It's tough because there's a lot of people I do like on Twitter. Okay, so we'll put that on hold. Maybe I won't.
Yeah.
What I will
for now, he
just
sees it as a giant trash can.
Yes. As of right now, I will promote at Quack12 Blue Sky Social.
Yeah,
that's right. That's the woke one. We're a woke podcast. We're a woke family. Switching over there. Stay woke, y'all. Yes, that's about it. So keep your eye on our YouTube channel, Blue Sky, I guess Twitter for now, and our website. But and we got some episodes coming up. We got some best ofs coming up. We've got Hitler Day will pop on and we'll break down the full season, break down our picks. But
that's next week, baby.
That's next week. We're going to be going into hibernation mode for a while.
Okay, so yeah, basically what we're not getting is the extreme breakdowns of each team every week through the off season.
Mm-hmm.
But what we're gaining is possibly a reformatting of the show to create a more, what would you say, television style entertainment thing.
I want you. There's going to be some exciting stuff. I want to hold back some cards here, but we're really looking to reformat. It'll still be a good audio experience, but I think the visual experience we're gonna focus a little more on that, and I think have a really more listenable, more fun, good time as we break down this cursed existence of being an Oregon Duck fan.
Okay,
which I've dragged you into.
And speaking of video, I think I'm curious to find out, now that we are going to be taking a lap, are you going to pull down all of the stuff in your video booth? Are you going to fold up the flag? Are you going to resign the numbers?
You mean the place where I record?
Yeah.
I'll tell you
what's going to happen to the room? What's going to happen to the video booth?
It's gone.
No, you're going to break the whole thing down?
Breaking it all down. I'm moving in to a bigger office next.
Really?
That's right. So this will all look different. I'm going into a more comfortable spot for me. I won't quite be in a closet. To the vacant room right next to me, which I could have been recording in this whole time. I like the small feel of this, though. You know what I mean?
Hold on. You have chosen this room over having y'all have a room in your spot that is empty?
Of course. Doesn't everybody?
What do you use it for?
Storage. Well, it's not empty. It's got a bunch of stuff in it. I'm going to change it into my office.
But that's the room you're in right now is meant for that stuff.
No, this is the podcast room.
I love it.
Listeners, this is the size room that I'm in.
Listeners, this is
that's
the size
the closet.
room.
This is just truly closet. There's a duck thing.
I love it, dude.
Yeah, that's my pants. Don't know if I needed that. Yeah, so it's we got some changes coming up, but honestly, if we're gonna win this natty, we need some changes. I think that's clear.
Do you think it's a Will Stein thing? God damn it! Now we're back talking about the game.
Well, we'll wait. Save that question for Hitler Day.
Save it for Hitler Day because he's gonna know.
Anyway, so we still got more to talk about this season. Next week, we'll really break down the whole hog of this season. 13 wins, 1 loss. But Aaron, what do you got to say about this game? And then we'll head out here. First of all,
I think I've said it all. Honestly, yeah. I feel like I went through the steps during the episode. I had the sadness, I had the anger, I had the denial, and then I had the acceptance, whatever that order is supposed to be.
Thabda.
I think I'm excited to watch what kind of short films you come up with over this break.
Goodness.
I'm very stoked that you get to give yourself a little vacay from thinking about, because I have to be honest.
Yeah.
You did kind of go full whole hog on this thing. And so obviously burnout is not only acceptable, but inevitable.
Yeah, listeners, just imagine two episodes a week since 2017.
Here's the deal. When we started this thing, the reason why I was here was to edit audio and make it sound good for release.
Mm-hmm.
Pulling back the curtain, if you will, I have not done that for years.
True.
At some point, Adam was like, yo, I'm going to do all the editing now. And I was like, great, fine. That's even easier for me.
Like,
I literally just get to sit here.
It's a vitally important.
I mean, you took on I will tell you this. Be kinder to yourself because there are other people that can help you. And it'll only make it stronger.
Find the
but I'm glad that you get to have a vacation to focus on the fun thing, because I do think we could do a movie show here or there if you ever wanted to.
Yeah. We may have some random ass things pop up on this feed. So,
because we could always use those as testing grounds for all of the new video and CGI effects we're going to be installing.
Absolutely.
I mean, I bought that digital horse so that I could ride it.
Yeah.
So we do need to have that figured out, I think.
I think it costs a lot of Bitcoin.
Dude,
way too much Bitcoin.
I thought it was an accurate NFT to purchase. I own it now. It'll only go up in value, right?
Maybe. In Elon's America, maybe.
Yeah.
Listeners,
by the
Quack12 fans,
it's about to go into a hole.
Yeah, I don't think we need to do that. So, as you know, Quack12 fans, we will never die, and in fact, you should be rooting for our death because that means the Oregon Ducks won the national championship.
That's right. Yeah, I mean, that's basically it. You know, now that we understand the cost of war,
yes,
but that war is also inevitable. We've learned how to pace ourselves to a guaranteed win.
Or,
victory shall be ours.
Or eternal torture pushing up this rock, up this giant hill that is called football.
Well, I think that's also just when anyone tries to achieve something that they're told by society that they should not have.
So beautiful. Give us 5 stars on Apple Podcasts, or don't.
Dude.
Podcast. Give us the comments. Help people find this podcast. Well, we'll see you all next week. That freaking sucked. Go Ducks.
Quack, quack, quack.